Hi guys, this is Gwent2Town and I'm here for a new video. I basically wanted to do a small video to just talk about you guys with the things I've been doing these last days, and also give you a couple of tips coming into the season end or whatever you wanna call it. Um, so yeah, everybody wants to get onto the new ladder or the exclusive ladder for players over 4.2, right? That's the big objective, and as you can see, this is my Smurf. I just hit the threshold, and I just wanted to let you guys know, like, how were my feelings on this whole thing and everything regarding like the climb from zero basically to 4.2. So yeah, I just started this account on Sunday. I built it like from zero, pretty much from scratch. Basically, in this case, I didn't want to do it free to play, or I didn't exactly like want to build factions because this is going to be an account that I'm going to use for a long time probably. So I just bought some packs. In this case, this of course makes it much easier to just get a competitive deck from the start, but you don't have to do it. You can build factions. There's different strategies. You guys all know about that to get a deck, right? So if you see my collection, I open a lot of packs, especially now that I just I just got a lot of packs like over these days, right? But as you can see, like my collection is nothing. It's not too big. I basically have like a Skellige, and using these scraps, I could make another deck, basically. Yes. So again, what's the point of the video? The point of the video is letting you guys know like how the climb is, or how do I feel about the climb, or about these ranks in general, right? So we started the climb probably I think Tuesday morning, uh, because that was a holiday here, so I didn't have to work. And I've been doing this like putting like hours after work, not really playing too much. I probably play around mm 15, 16 hours or so until now. It's a lot of time, but it's not an unsurmountable amount of time, right? So yeah, this is the stats that I got in my climb. 96 wins, 15 losses, and 1 draw. That's basically is a 86% win rate. Uh, Again, you have to look at this like with perspective and think about this 86 point win rate, 86.5 win rate, 0.5% win rate, and think why that happens. Basically, um, I could say that it is just because I'm too good. I'm too good of a discard escape player that I can just win every game. Uh, but that's not true. The reason why this happens is basically because I've been climbing for a very low MMR, and people make ton of mistakes basically when you're playing decks. Now we can see like I'm running a standard SK discard list, which I've never played before this climb. It's probably not even correct, the list, by the way. I don't know what to do with the bronzes really. And the skirmisher seems really bad, like really, and not bad, but it's a little bit too like situational. You kind of have to draw a lot of. You have to draw like Madman Lugos early and dresses in a correct amount. It's definitely probably not a perfect list, but the gist of it is correct. That's the most important thing when you climb. You like not having every card correct is actually not very important when you're doing a climb like that. And then GM climb and rank one climb is different. It's a different ball game. But yes, so when you have this list, right? I can assure you, like if I was a decent player at the scale, like a very good player, from my MMR. Of course, if you take into account that I'm a Grandmaster player without like wanting to sound really braggy, uh, I'm gonna be better than the average dude. That's obvious. But if you compare me to a player that specializes in SK or plays SK regularly, I'm bad. Like I'm really bad. I'm gonna make mistakes for sure. So you can see that even though I'm making mistakes, and for a lot of time there I was drawing like shit. I still like didn't lose many games. That is because of a lot of things. Basically, the main one is people not knowing how to play against the deck or just making mistakes. Now I'm repeating the mistake part a lot. That's for you guys that are down there. It's not um, to discourage you and tell you you're doing a ton of mistakes. That's why you are like trapped on that MMR or whatever. It's not my the thing I wanna do is basically gonna tell you like exactly how easy for a person at my MMR is to climb. Of course, this is maybe I don't know. This could maybe be 90% if I was a very good player with SK. But regardless, that's not the important part. It's not the number, right? This is not a 1DB post. It's not about bragging about the number. It's about you guys understanding the concept that you can climb to this MMR easily by just not doing mistakes. Of course, not doing mistakes in a game like Gwent, which is very complex, is very hard. I've definitely made a lot of mistakes. The thing is, the mistakes I do are small, and most of them I know how to. I know what I'm doing basically. Like I know when I take a risk or make a mistake, I could get punished, and I normally don't make a mistake which couldn't make me get punished. I also know how to recognize the mistakes from my opponents really easily. I realized I made mistakes, but I often never got punished because my opponent just didn't know that it was a mistake or didn't know that he wanted to do X or W, right? I think most of the problem with players at this MMR gameplay wise is most of them know their deck. Like at this MMR I mean like 4K 3.5. Under that is like it's too messy. It's just a lot of decks. It's like a lot of bad decks and players also playing it horribly, not knowing the basics and stuff. But if you're around that mark, which you're climbing for 4.2, um, you're trying to see like what I'm doing wrong. Most of the people at that MMR, I feel like, make the same mistakes, but they are hard to generalize. I think the part of the game that they struggle the most is the medium, like the medium part of round one, which is the more decision heavy part of the game. Like it's very decision heavy part of the game because there you decide like when to pass, where to pass, like when and where in terms of point advantage and everything. The situation on the board, the situation on your hand and on your opponent's hand. I think a lot of people, when you are in that MMR, you don't understand really what's happening with your opponent's hand and your hand. And that's okay. The board is also like the board situation. You might think, okay, I have more points than the dude, or I have weather. They don't really like analyze it on on another level, or just understand what's the flow of the match at this point. When you go lower, they just really it just seems sometimes like they play cards randomly. But when you go to that level, they normally know what cards they should play. They just when you play especially longer run ones, they just don't understand the priority. What cards should they keep for next round or what cards they shouldn't keep? Especially when going first. People just throw away win conditions when going first and let you get a pass with more carryover. That's the biggest way to lose, especially when you're playing Dagon against this deck. You just throw away all the win conditions round one, and you still only get the win with one card advantage for the scale player, which is basically what he wants. So I'm gonna give like kind of tips for the Dagon players because that's all you see at this MMR mostly. I can tell you guys like I have like probably a 70% win rate against Dagon for no reason. I shouldn't have it for sure. Like it's a horrible matchup for SK. It's the worst matchup of course. And that happens because your opponent just doesn't know how to handle situations like that. Your opponent doesn't know weather management, and that's really important when you play Dagon. So yeah, it's surprising sometimes for a player that is not used to playing at these ranks, just how much mistakes can people make in terms of playing Dagon, which is theoretically right a very easy deck, but it has some complexity to it when you don't understand the flow of the round one especially. So this mistake on round one makes them not go into the perfect situation for round two. Then I mostly know how to press my advantage on round two, even with like suboptimal hands. Like you could really you have to see like how bad of a hand I could actually salvage by just my opponent letting me get away with it. So you don't want to do that. Okay, but again, the point of this post was not to give you guys specific tips in terms of gameplay, because that's very hard. Like, I can coach a person, but I cannot like really generalize right now and say what is the basic mistake everybody makes. That one of not knowing when to pass wrong one is a big one, I think, or not understanding like the advantages you have on the board, not understanding like the commitment you're putting into a round, and understanding also carryover words like, do I have more carryover than the dude? Do I have less carryover than the dude? How to like get a good pass on that situation? Do I want to play a long round two, short round two? That's another one big point of decision making people do in the round. When it comes round two, what do you want to do in round two, right? Has been getting better in that sense. The last MMR points I climbed, but it's still very messy sometimes. Okay, it's interesting, but I'm not gonna bother you too much with the details. If you guys want me to do a specific gameplay improvement video, or you want me to address a topic, for example, the topic about passing and understanding like the advantages and the potential each deck has for playing longer rounds or whatever. I think it's a very interesting topic, but it's I think a little bit too advanced for people that are not even 4.2. Because right now the ladder is just, if you're not 4.2, you probably either don't put enough times on the enough time on the ladder, or just need to learn other things first, I think, in my opinion. But yes. So we see like 6,000 people already at this MMR. That's pretty good, but when I was down there, like after I just got the access to Ranked, I was 200,050 or something like that. 250,000. Is that how you say it? Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I just wanted to also give you guys like the most important tip, I think, for the climb, which I didn't tell you about yet, and that's actually like not having to do anything with specifically with gameplay or whatever. It's just about like the mental aspect of the game, and I wanted to let you guys know like basically what happens and why I like my story in this sense, and why I got to like play more card games and stuff, and getting a little bit better at card games, and basically getting to the level I am now. It all started with this anecdote that I'm gonna tell you. So this was around like 3 or 4 years ago. I actually don't remember. It was like March. March. I think it was 4 years ago. I don't know. We have to ask like coach, I think. So yeah, it was when I was playing Hearthstone, and I basically the deck at that moment, like a lot of people were playing Druid, Control Druid, and stuff like that. And basically, Life Coach made his very famous Sunshine Hunter that basically came to reign on the ladder like for months forward until it got nerfed. So what happened with that deck? So basically, when the inception of that deck was made, I was starting to get seriously into Hearthstone, and I was climbing that season. Like that was my first season climbing, really seriously, right? And I just want to tell you, like at the start, my actual objective coming into the season was just getting rank 5. So rank 5 is like 5 ranks, of course, to legend. That is very accomplishable thing. At the moment I didn't know, I thought it was a good accomplishment for me, because I thought I was bad. So, and I was bad, to be fair, but yeah. So, yeah, coming into that point in time, I started playing the deck first. When I saw Life Coach doing well with it, I started playing the deck. And at first, of course, I was bad. You could probably understand, because I wasn't used to the deck. The other thing that happened though is my opponents didn't really know how to play against the deck because it was new, right? So it was like it was putting me kind of on the same level as those dudes that were probably a little bit more experienced than me in that sense. And I was winning games. And then after winning games against those dudes, I just didn't, give it a really much of an evaluation at that time. I was just happy that I was winning against players that were theoretically higher skill than me. Then I realized that actually, like, skill in a card game it has like a lot of layers to it. It's not all about like part of knowing the meta, knowing like your opponent's deck and stuff. It's also part of skill. So I don't know. It's basically you shouldn't like hold yourselves down or whatever because of stuff like that. And yeah, hold on for a second. Sí, está en el gimnasio. Viene dentro de una hora o así. Acaba de salir hace poco. ¿Por qué? Ah. No, sí, siempre lo hace aposta. So, ya lo voy a abrir ahora. So yeah, coming back into it. Basically, at that point in time, I was playing the Sunshine Hunter list against people that were like higher than me, and I was playing a lot. So I was basically climbing with that list, playing against people that were theoretically higher skill than me. That's when I learned that the most important thing for climbing and getting better at card games is not to hold yourself down or not to think like rank 5 is enough or rank 2 is enough, not to think 4K is enough. I am not good enough for more, and let's keep it at 3.8. I'm not good enough. I like exactly the point of this video was like of this advice or whatever. It was me like reading Reddit, a thing that I don't do very often the other day, and I saw so many people like saying, "Yeah, I'm not good enough for I'm 4 point or 3.8 or 3.7, but I'm not good enough for 4.2. I'm not gonna try," or um, "I don't think I will do it. I'm only 4K." Like, and I was thinking like, dude, man, you don't know, like, you don't know how wrong that is. Like, you can easily make it. Like, it is just about you putting a little bit of effort in that because you could be surprised, like just the amount of improvement you can do in terms of MMR, but also in terms of playing skill, just by committing yourself to getting a goal. Especially a goal like this. This is all just to get you to the intermediate level, and to that level, you are gonna like get a big improvement without even putting like a lot of really complex thought into it, like without even going very far in terms of what you do. You can make a big accomplishment, like a good improvement with that. So yeah, basically without like repeating myself for the 30th time in a row, it's very important that the first thing you should know in a card game when it comes to like playing ladder is no ladder anxiety. Having no ladder anxiety is very important. The second thing is very important is not hold yourself down. Don't hold yourself down or don't think you can only accomplish certain things because you will be surprised. Also, you never know when you're playing card games. A thing that no one I think talks about much is the nature of like winning streaks and confidence in card games. Sometimes like you get like confident, like you improve because you get confident. You have confidence like playing a deck, and that's like so subjective. Having confidence with a deck is just feeling that you have possibilities to win with a deck, basically, and that could happen by a lot of factors. Like even in that case with Sunshine Hunter, it could be like perfectly believable for me at this point that I was actually shit at the game, and I was basically winning because the deck was very strong and I was being lucky with it. Even though you can say, okay, that doesn't matter now. The only thing that matters is that because those wins and that confidence I got by winning against people that was theoretically better than me, I kept playing and I kept improving. Basically, I used that motivation, which I didn't know probably the source wasn't even like my skill or my accomplishment. It was just probably luck or just playing the strongest deck at the moment. So I used that to build up my confidence and to play more. And when I played more, I improved more. And I got more confident because I won more. It's just a cycle in that sense. You got to understand this on the positive sense and use it for your games and for your climb, and also understand it on the negative sense. When you get into a losing streak, it's very important for me that you guys understand that like results on a card game don't tell the whole story. In fact, results on a card game don't even tell the half of the story. So if you lose a game, think about how you played that game and think about why you lost. Don't just say monster is OP or he had all the goals. Just think about what could you have done. If you played perfectly and you couldn't do anything, then it's fine. But you shouldn't like let yourself get down because only a loss or a loss streak doesn't mean that you're not good enough. Like if you keep tanking when you reach one game away from your goal, it doesn't mean that you're not good enough. It just means that you're not like taking advantage of the opportunities. Maybe the 100 game wasn't good enough. I actually can tell you about me uh, in this climb right now. Like I could have easily done it in 89%, like without 6 games or 7 games played. That's because I was like only 1 game away. I lost to a very nutty hand by a Dagon player, and I also made a small mistake. I took note of that mistake and I played again. I got a terrible bad hand, like horrible triple pirate bullshit, and then I lost another game. But I wasn't down, like, oh, this is unwinnable. I'm never gonna do it again. I just calmed myself down for a couple of minutes and keep playing. Won a couple of games, then I was again 1 game to go. I got another unlucky hand and I lost. But that doesn't matter because I know it's just a matter of time because until I get the correct opportunity, I get to take the chance and get to the objective. It's just not letting yourself like the gatekeepering or whatever bad luck like get get you down. That by the way is impossible to like a complete extent. You're never gonna do it like perfectly until yourself or whatever. But that's the most important thing you have to know. Results don't tell the whole story in a card game. Now, please, when you get lucky or when you get like a couple of wins in a row, also like use it to boost your confidence. That don't get a false idea that you're suddenly hot shit, right? That can happen to you a lot when you think like, oh, I'm hot shit, of this deck is hot shit because I'm just winning a lot of games. Think about the context in those games and what you're winning. But yes, this is basically going a very long rant, so I'm gonna cut it short. Basically, when it comes to climbing, you have to avoid ladder anxiety. Now, ladder anxiety is a big topic. Um, is I don't know. It's hard for me to give you like advice on that one. My advice is, as any fear, I would like advise you that if you have ladder anxiety or if you don't want to play ladder because you feel like anxious about it or whatever, my advice would be to play ladder and feel anxious about it. It would be basically like face your fear. That'd be my big advice regarding that. Like you just need to lose on ladder to understand that losing on ladder doesn't matter. Like first of all, it's just a game. Doesn't matter how seriously you take it. Second of all, MMR is just a number. So basically, it doesn't matter how much MMR you say you have, or you like. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not gonna consider you a better or a worse person because of it. And basically, ladder is just a way for us to show like how good we are or how committed we are to this game. It doesn't have like a ladder number is not gonna make you a better or worse Gwent player. The fact that you can push through that makes you a good person, like a strong, disciplined person, and someone that can reach good things on Gwent. Basically, getting over your losses and getting over ladder anxiety can, take you to the next level in that sense, more than a ranking number can do. Basically, so yeah, those are my advices for the climb if you guys are about to do it, and like I really encourage you to do it because this is a great like experience and it's a great opportunity for you guys to show yourself that you can do it. to show yourself that you can like get to that point. Basically, imagine that I'm playing here, right? I'm here, and now I'm thinking I would like to get rank 20, but I'm scared that I'm gonna drop. Like, I think a lot of people would say, yeah, I'm not gonna play more because, I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it. And that's fine. But you should also, like, be confident in yourself to push, like, whatever you want to push. Like, it's fine keeping it like this 4.2, but you have to have in your mind that you can go farther. You can go like wherever you want, basically with just enough time and practice. But when we have like only a week to go, you should like strive to like get to that point, get to the 4.2 mark, and then congratulations, you reach a very good milestone. If this is just your first month or whatever, your second month, third month in the game, or maybe that's the first you have been playing for a while, but it's the first month you take ladder seriously, that's a great accomplishment. Even though sometimes we complain about this MMR system and we say like everybody can get like 4K, everybody can get, and that's to some extent everybody can do that, but at the same time you have to put the effort, right? Everybody is capable of doing that, but you have to put the effort and you have to be willing to learn and to play. So yeah, don't like don't undermine that achievement if you get 4.2. That's a good achievement for sure. So yeah, I basically just want to encourage you guys to try it. I want to encourage you guys to have fun on the ladder, but also learn a lot of things and get better at the game while doing it. So yeah, this is it for me, and this has been Gwent2Town, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Just tell me if you would like to see some gameplay related videos, because I know I didn't touch uh, on much gameplay stuff this time. I just I've been rambling about like a rampa basically. And yeah, I hope someone like enjoys the advice and can take something from it. And yes, it's basically it. This is Gwent2Town. I hope you guys like the video.